Interpreting two-way tables. So we're looking at representing data here. So we've taken a survey, we're trying to figure out what to do with the results of all those numbers that we've collected. So one way we can organize that is a two-way table. So a two-way table displays two categories of data collected from the same source. So I've asked a group of people some information, and I'm kind of combining it into an organized fashion in two different parts. So you'll see that we're looking at the table vertically, and we're going to look at it horizontally. So this table, you randomly survey students in your school about the grades on their last test and whether they studied for the test. The two-way table shows your results. Each entry in the table is called a joint frequency. So the numbers that we have here are called joint frequencies. So in each part we have students that we talked to, and we asked them whether they studied or they did not study. So that was one question we asked them. Then we also asked them whether they passed or they failed that particular assessment that they studied for. So we asked them two questions. So that's our two categories of data. We asked them, did they study? Did they not study? We asked them, did they pass? Did they fail? So then we've grouped those into, again, what we call joint frequencies. So we have students who studied. These are all the students who studied, but I've grouped them into two categories. People who studied and passed, people who studied and failed. And then I have people who did not study, and I've again grouped them into those same two categories, students that passed and students who failed. So these are our joint frequencies. These are the numbers we pull from kind of the meat part of the table. So we can answer some questions about that. How many students in the above survey studied for the test and passed? So I'm looking for two things. They did two things at the same time. So I'm going to look for studied for the test. So I'm in this first vertical column. And they passed. I'm looking for this first horizontal column. 21 students studied for the test and they passed. So that is using the joint frequency. So I can pull some data kind of about each group from the joint frequencies. All right, let's take a look at what other information I can pull from these numbers. So the sums of the rows and the columns are called marginal frequency. Oh, I spelled columns wrong. That's horrible. Let's fix that. Columns are called marginal frequencies. So again, if you think about the margins of a paper, they are around the edge. So find and interpret the marginal frequencies. So in the marginal frequencies, we're going to come up with totals for these. So this is the same two-way table I just had a second ago, only I've added kind of an extra column and an extra row here that are totals. So I've taken all of the students that studied, there's 22 of them, I added up this column. I've taken all the students that did not study and added them up and come up with this sum. So this sum here is the students who studied, all of them. This sum here is the students who did not study, and this is all of them. Then I went horizontally and I said, who are all the students that passed? There's 23 students who passed, so this total here on the outside is all the students who passed. And then students who failed, there were 7 students who failed their particular assessment. So these totals are going horizontally or going vertically without looking at the other one. Now I can also continue to go vertically and horizontally here, and I can say the total number of students who passed and who failed altogether. I asked 30 kids altogether. And if I go this way, my 22 plus my 8 should also give me 30. So my column and my row should add up to that same sum. So these are our joint frequencies are inside my table here. Those are the numbers of people who did certain things. And then my marginal frequencies, and again, think about it in the margins. Those are my totals of each of my columns and my rows.